Like and subscribe, Flow All Day Radio.
First of all, drop top, you bitch ass nigga. Bitch, I ain't never been a groupie, you bitch ass nigga. Bitch. Cause one thing about it, I never knew who the fuck a WACK100 was. When I first came on this app, you bitch ass nigga, I didn't know who the fuck Wack was. That nigga's nobody on the West Coast. You niggas in the South, in the East Coast, know more about this nigga than we ever know on the West Coast. I swear to God on my kids. We don't know who the fuck this nigga is. We don't give a fuck about him. I could never be a groupie to a nigga I don't know nothing about. You bitch ass nigga. Talking about that's what you get for being a groupie to a bitch. Like, bitch, you gotta to be a groupie, the groupie bitch gotta know who you is. You bitch ass nigga. The fuck?
What's
I
48?
never knew who
Is
the
that
fuck
the
I
first
never knew
48?
who the fuck a WAC 100 was before any of this shit. And I said that from the beginning. You could go to any interview I ever did from the beginning. I never knew who he was until I started doing interviews. They said he was Suge Knight's this and that. I don't know who the fuck he's nobody over here. We don't give a fuck about him on the West Coast. Nobody. Y'all know more about him than us. We don't give a fuck about him.
I think I started know when he was with Ray J. The thing he used to be on with Ray J all the time.
Miss Bree, I didn't even know he was Ray J's manager. I didn't even know he was the game's manager. I just so happened to download this app because I was trying to stay awake. I was trying to stay awake because I worked a night job. I worked for Tesla at nighttime. So I was trying to stay awake and I downloaded this app. I fell in Bullet's Gotti room. I didn't know nothing about a WAC 100. So, bitch, I could never be a groupie when that nigga jumped in my room. I had a room called Cocktails with Meeka. I didn't know nothing about WAC 100, never heard about him, never talked to him, never talked about him. He jumped in my room because I had a room with over 100 people talking about Snoop Dogg. His clout chasing ass jumped in my room, bitch. He was clout chasing. Jumped in my room because I had heavy hitters in my room like God of Kings, like motherfucking Trife Gangster. I had real niggas in my room like Hocus 4/5. I had those niggas in my room. I didn't know who fucking WAC 100 was. Are you fucking kidding me? Fucking groupie to no nigga?
Like
That
and
nigga came in
subscribe,
my
Flow
room.
All Day
Now, what does
Radio.
48 mean?
I don't even know what 48 mean. Weird ass
The
shit.
first 48?
That's what I think when I hear 48.
Is that a New York term? 48?
New York niggas in here. Come on, y'all. Y'all, what's 48? What's that shit?
I never heard of that.
Weird ass nigga talking
Same
about
here. I
that's
ain't
what
never
you
heard that
get.
neither.
That nigga said that's what you get for fucking with groupies. Bitch, to be a groupie, you gotta know who a nigga is. I never knew who the fuck he was. That nigga was my fan before I was his fan. And that's on my kid's heartbeat, nigga. Know who the fuck he was. That nigga was a fan to me.
So by the time y'all hooked up, did you know who he was?
You said what, Big
By
Juice?
the time y'all like start engaging and taking it off the app with each other, did you know who he was? Like starting
Yes.
out, you didn't know
Okay.
who he was, but
Yes.
when
So
y'all start like
yeah.
engaging off the app, you knew who he was.
Yeah, so to be 100, because I'm gonna keep it 100. By the time me and him had sex, I knew who he was. Yes, but when he first started like courting me, no, I didn't know. I googled him and shit like that. That's how I found out. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't jump in his back channel. He jumped in mine. He came in my room and saw what I was talking about, and then he jumped in my back channel. And then I was like, let me Google. I didn't even Google him until CEO Reek jumped in my back channel and was like, hey. I seen this nigga tear bitches down as fast as he built them up. So watch your back. Once CEO Reek told me that is when I Googled him. That's when I was like, oh, the nigga married. Oh, the nigga got this and that going on. You know what I'm saying?
So
That's
what
that's
was the
when I did
plan?
it.
Like, was it like a business thing, or was y'all supposed to ride off into the sunset and be together, or
Oh
was
God.
y'all
Big
just
juice.
fucking? Like, what?
Yeah.
What was the end
Okay.
game?
Okay. So look. So to keep it 100 on my mama. So after I googled the nigga, I found out who he was. Right. I didn't know that he was so controversial. I just knew that he was a nigga that was tied into Suge Knight and he was married. That's all I got from the Google. Right. So what the shit that me and him was talking about before I googled him and to after I googled him, yes, we was talking about riding off into the sunset. I won't lie
Like
to
and
you. That's what the
subscribe. Flow
conversations
All
was.
Day
Riding
Radio.
off into the fucking sunset. I swear to God. And Rashid Reek was like, "Don't trust that nigga. He's this and this. He. You feel me?" And that's what it was. So that's why I was so game goofy because I chose as a bitch that's in love with the thought of being in love, a bitch that's in love with fairy tales and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, no, he loves me. He's not like that. And and da 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 da. That's why I heard the voice recordings y'all heard and all of this bullshit. But at the end of the day, this nigga had other, once that nigga heard Dreas told him that okay, so this how me and him y'all, if y'all didn't know. How me and him was riding off into the sunset, like Big Juice said. And then the nigga came on the app and he was jealous of a New York nigga that I was dealing with. All you niggas know who the fuck that New York nigga is. I don't gotta say his name, right? So he was jealous of that about that nigga because once, like Juice just asked me, once I googled the nigga, I found out he was married. So I was like, oh, I don't want to I don't want to gain feelings for a nigga that's married. So let me talk to somebody else so I can make sure I don't catch feelings for this nigga because I'm a bitch I can't fuck without feelings. I can't deal without feelings. I'm gonna catch feelings, point blank, period. And I ain't too big to say it. I'm catching feelings. I can't do it without it. I'm a real woman. You feel me? So I was like, let me talk to this New York nigga, cause this this New York nigga really got me in a trance for real. So I'm gonna give my all to him, and I'm gonna fuck with Whack just to see what I can get. You feel me? That's where I was at the time, right? So then Whack came to me and he was like, oh, you fucking with a New York nigga? I'm like, nigga. Like all the West Coast niggas had and Sleazy. Sleazy can attest to this because Sleazy been in my room since day one, since I opened my room. Every West Coast nigga had a problem that I had a really, really genuine love for East Coast niggas. They all hated that, right?
It's a big fact.
And Wack hated that. Wack hated it. So when Wack came around, he was like, "Oh, you love these East Coast niggas, da da da
Like and
da. You supposed to be
subscribe.
a West
Flow
Coast
All Day
bitch. You never
Radio.
let them niggas feel like, you know what I'm saying, you denouncing the West Coast for the East Coast." And I don't give a fuck about none of that. I fuck with who I fuck with. You know what I'm saying? So then Wack, he found out I was fucking with the East Coast nigga, and I really liked him, right? And the nigga Wack he was sprung when I fucked him. He came to the app and started telling people, yeah, Meeka was fucking with a nigga in LA and that nigga must have loved her. He must have loved her real good because he left hickeys on her neck. And it was some love behind them hickeys. It was this and this and that behind them hickeys. You know what I'm saying? Sleazy, you was there, nigga. You was my moderator, if I can't remember.
Yep, yep.
On God. So the nigga was like saying all this shit, right? And I'm like, bro, like, why is you doing this? Like, you a married nigga. Like, I'm supposed to have my feelings in another nigga because you're married, right? So the nigga like, ain't no nigga, don't no nigga want his bitch to be involved with another nigga. So from there, I was like, oh, okay, so he calling me his bitch. He got me on three with his wife. He talking to the bitch like she ain't shit.
Wait a
So he
minute,
letting me,
wait, back up. You wait, what you mean three-way with his wife? You were listening or talking?
yes, Bree. I wasn't talking,
Yeah,
but I
you heard
was.
it right.
I wasn't
Oh,
I wasn't talking, but I was listening, right?
okay.
So he was talking to the bitch and he was telling her shit like, okay, so it was his birthday. His birthday April 7th, right? April 7th. So he was telling the bitch shit like, oh, like, this the worst birthday I ever had. This bitch ain't put shit into it. She fucking a nigga from 6 This is shit Whack telling me, right? So then he's telling me, he's like, oh, it don't matter because this bitch ain't. The nigga start having me, Miss Bree, dead ass. He started teaching me how to book his flights, how to book his rooms, and shit like that. Like, basically, he was grooming me to replace her. He was teaching me to do everything that she was doing, right? So he put me on three-way one time with his wife right after his birthday. And his wife like, I know you gonna leave me because the shit you saying is real foul. He like, bitch, first of all, this whack saying it. He like, bitch, first of all, this birthday is a whack ass birthday, but you ain't gotta worry about it because you ain't gonna be here for the next birthday, is what he told her. I was like, woo. You know what I'm saying?
Like and
So Wack,
subscribe. Flow
after he
all
hung up
day
the phone with her on
radio.
that, he started teaching me how to book his flights and shit. You know what I'm saying? He started teaching me how to do what she do. So but he came back to the app. He started attacking me and my children, right? He started talking about, oh, you better stop beating on them kids, is the shit he said. You feel me? That's what made me start attacking him. Like, oh, nigga, for real? You trying to go at me like that, nigga? When you know what's the real program behind that? So I start going at him, right? So niggas start seeing me and Wack go back and forth. That's how it started, right? And then so when people start saying like, you knew he was married, it's like, bitch, I knew he was married, but I also knew he was legally separated. He didn't want that bitch, and that bitch didn't want him. That bitch was dating other motherfucking niggas, and he was fucking other bitches. That's a fact. I knew every bitch that nigga Wack was fucking. He showed me every picture of every bitch, all the shit. Like, that was really my ride or die at one point. You feel me? It was no secret that was kept from me at all. So a lot of people don't acknowledge that.
Whack
Like,
was your ride or die?
at the time, Juice, at the time, yes, he
I
was.
ain't gonna lie, Mika. I used to be like, you was stupid because you ain't getting no. Was you getting money out the nigga? And I was like, at least get something. The way he was bringing it back to the app, because he made
Right,
everybody believe that you were lying
right,
about y'all fucking. And I'm
right,
like, and I always said, I was like, they fucking. You can tell that they are because of the things you would say. And I would be like, that ain't no shit. She ain't lying. She's not lying about that. Like, it's
right,
like little intricate things he would say to you, and then when he started recording the phone conversation, he would
right.
make it one sided. And I
But
was like,
Juice,
damn, she ain't get nothing out
I
of it.
mean, Juice, Bree, this the thing. So, but when before he started recording the phone calls, me and him was on good terms, so he wasn't recording nothing. He started recording the phone calls after he attacked my children, and when I announced on the internet, I said, tell your wife who gave me these hickeys on my neck, because if anybody
I remember
remember,
that. I
Whack
remember that.
100, right? So Whack 100 was sprung as fuck, and he came to the app. And he was like, oh yeah, Meeka had a nigga come to her room. He fucked the shit out of her. He gave her hickeys. And I was telling Wack, like, bro, you making me sound like a whore. You know, you making it sound like I had some random nigga come fuck me in a room when you know it was you. You know? And he was like, it don't matter what they think. It
Like and
don't matter. He
subscribe.
just
Flow
wanted
all
niggas not
day
to be on
radio.
me long as he knew it was him. You know what I'm saying?
Girl,
But
that's a
he
fucking manipulator,
that's
bitch.
a fact, India. That's a fact.
These
And he
niggas be master fucking manipulators.
Did
That's
y'all
a
use
fact.
protection?
But Bree, if you remember any of it, then you remember what I'm talking about. That nigga came to the app. He was sprung as fuck. He didn't want nobody to be on my body. He wanted everybody to know that it was a nigga that gave me hickeys. And when that nigga attacked my children, because me and him had a disagreement, he came to the app and was like saying shit about my kids. And I was like, tell your wife who gave me these hickeys, bitch ass nigga. And after that, that's when everything started unraveling. So I couldn't get really nothing out of the nigga because he was the nigga that caught feelings so fast, Bree.
So
Like, that's what
before
people
before he came, before the kid situation, you thought like y'all was gonna, for like a better words, have like a happily ever after. Like he
no,
was
Juice.
leaving his
That's what I'm trying to
wife.
explain right now. That's what I'm trying to
You were
explain
trying to
right now,
pace
Juice.
yourself, but then
No,
shit went too
Juice.
fast.
No, no, look, let me address what you said.
So,
And look, Juice, not to even fucking, you know what I'm saying, like be weird or nothing like that. But that's where he, as a nigga, he caught feelings before me, Juice. Dead ass. Like, I was more in the fact that, like, I'm like, okay, I'm fucking with this nigga. I found out he married, so I'm gonna talk to this other nigga that I really like so I can make sure I don't catch feelings. But Whack 100 himself caught feelings. I did not. I didn't catch feelings. He came to the app telling the app, oh yeah, this bitch had hickeys. I didn't have no feelings for WACK 100.
Did you get some money out of him?
But baby, that's what I'm trying to explain to you. The nigga caught feelings the first time we fucked. It didn't get nowhere. The nigga was sprung the first dip of pussy he got. The first time he hit the pussy, he was sprung. And he was acting stupid on the internet. He didn't get nowhere. Because I'm a bitch like this. As soon as you fucking violate me, I'm not giving you a chance to violate me twice. He violated me the first time, and it was war ever since. So no, there was no time to get no money,
Like
no
and
nothing. Because
subscribe.
I was
Flow
a bitch
All
that
Day
had a bag
Radio.
already. And anybody on this app could tell you. Meeka was a bitch that was buying Fendi bags for herself, that was buying Gucci shoes, Gucci bags. All that shit was for myself. I was taking my kids out of the country on my own before I met WACK 100. I
What
was
made
doing that.
you
Nah,
for real?
I get what you're saying though, because a
Yeah.
lot of people be thinking, oh, just because a nigga got money, like you supposed to get that shit right off the gate. Like, nah, you gotta make that shit look good first.
Right. And
What?
and and India. I never had time to make shit look good because after he fucked me he fucked me like 2-3 times in one weekend, right? He'll tell you I fucked her for 8 minutes, but you came back the next day to fuck me all morning before my flight came, right? And then you come to the app and be like, oh, I only fucked her for 8 minutes, but you fucked me for like hours. If we add it up, you fucked me for a lot. You feel me?
Yeah, and then it's a
And you
little
was
different when
sprung.
you really like somebody. It's a little different. It's like your
Thank
intentions
you.
is not to like get money right off the gate.
Thank you. And for me, India,
But
I've never
building a
been a
life.
bitch. I've never been a bitch to fuck with a nigga because what he got. I've never been that bitch ever. Right? So I was fucking with him because I liked him at the time. At the time. And when he was fucking with me, he liked me too. That's a fact, right? That's why he was so in love. That's why he was so comfortable to be on his belly the way he was on his belly, right? So he was very, very comfortable with me.
Like and
You can't
subscribe.
negate that
Flow All
because
Day
ain't no nigga gonna be
Radio.
in that position and not be comfortable with a bitch. You feel me? So what I'm saying is the nigga was in love with me, India. I swear to God.
He thought
But
you was just quiet and that he was gonna intimidate you enough to not expose him.
and he could have did that, India. He could have did that. If he would have left my kids out of it, I'ma be 100% bitch with you. If he would have left my kids out of it, I swear to God, I would have never exposed him.